Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello, welcome to Popternative. This is the talk show and podcast where we have digital discussions, worlds of TV, film, news, pop culture, everything really depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats, and my guest is the director of his film Awake, is available now on Netflix, starring Gina Rodriguez. Mark Raso is with us. Mark, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Awesome to be on.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat with you. I mean, you are from Toronto. I mean, I could see it in the hat as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was just curious. I mean, you know, has it hit you that the film is finally out? We all know all the work that kind of goes behind making a movie. You directed it, so it's finally out. Has it hit you?
Yeah. Honestly, it's quite awesome. It is. It came out a couple of days ago, and since it came out, it's been the #1 film on Netflix around the world. So that's like mind blowing, to be honest.
So quick too.
Yeah. In a couple of days, really. Like it's. So I'm kind of blown away by it. It's an incredible feeling, and you know, all you want when you make something is you just want people to see it.
Absolutely. But you've noticed that, right? Being like a director, storyteller, that in like the digital age, like how quick things hit now, like it's insane.
Yeah, it is insane. I mean, it's you know, it's quick and it hits and it'll stay as long as it can stay, and then something else will come and hit, and that's the way it is. So right now, this is the moment for Awake, and I'm just reveling in it. I love it.
It's an amazing film. There is a lot going on. Were you planning on making a movie that had a lot going on? Because there's a lot. It's packed.
Yeah. This is always the intention. I mean, I just wanted to go. I think I wanted to just jump on this train and have it go, and deal with a lot of stuff and go in and out of different situations and meanings and themes and stuff like that. So it was fun. It's really enjoyable.
An amazing performance by Gina Rodriguez, a very strong, incredible, powerful character. What was it like working with her on this film, and talk a little bit about that arc of her character?
So first of all, working with Gina is fantastic. I mean, she's just an amazing person. So like, not only does she just come prepared and ready to go and give it everything every single day, her energy, her atmosphere, the atmosphere she creates on set, just all top notch. Like even at the end of long days, and I don't know how she do it, where she's in water and swimming all day, like I'm driving home and I see her on the side of the road, like talking to fans and taking pictures. I'm like, man, you're awesome. You're awesome. So she's so good. And I think her performance is incredible as well. And I think really like her arc is, when we meet her at the beginning, she's a kind of wayward mother who doesn't have custody of her kids, trying to make ends meet. There's a huge backstory we developed that seeps its way into the film here and there, but she was in the army, PTSD, kind of never recovered, drug addict, trying to get that. And I think really it's about someone who doesn't really have a lot of self-worth at the beginning of the film, and then by the end of it, she finds her self-worth as a mother and as a guardian.
Oh, absolutely. What is the mindset like when, it's in the books that you're making this film, you're going to direct it, you have a lot of kind of ideas and you want to do certain things. What's your mindset like when you're about to like make a film? Like what's that like, kind of like the premature moments of putting the film together?
Yeah. So interesting. I think it changes film to film. So Awake is my third film. I know on my first film, I was like walking on clouds and like couldn't believe this is actually happening. And, like, oh my God, and everything, hanging on everything. And now it was like, I knew it was happening. It's going, it's like, okay, my thing is like, I'm going to have no regrets when this film is done. So I'm going to be prepared as hell to handle any situation that comes up and be able to throw out that preparedness if I see something on set. So really for me, my mindset is just be prepared, as prepared as you can be to face any challenge that might come. And there were challenges on this set. Yep. One day it just started raining. Like there's a whole scene towards the end of the film that takes place in the rain when like the car pulls up and the army comes up. And, I wasn't supposed to be in the rain. It just started raining, and then we started filming, and then we got shut down because we couldn't film anymore because it was lightning, and we had to come back later. And it was So, you just want to be so prepared that when these challenges come up, you know how to deal with it. So that's kind of my mindset.
No, absolutely. I always ask that mindset question, Mark, because you always get a different answer. Like at different filmmakers, I find are at kind of different, like they have different things going on and different ways of dealing with things. You are from Canada. You are from Toronto. You are a Canadian filmmaker. I'm sure people, whether on an interview or talking to some of your colleagues, you're always asked this question. I mean, Canadian film and TV has come a long way. It's getting better in terms of the recognition and the quality of content, but like a lot of things, there's still improvement, right?
Yeah. So interesting. I mean, for me, I'm Canadian filmmaker who has never really been, I don't know if you want to say accepted or involved in the Canadian filmmaking system. And it's very disappointing to me, actually. But yeah, I ended up going to school in the States. At Columbia, I ended up moving to LA after. And that's where, that's when I made my first 2 films. And it was making Kodachrome, my second film, where we shot in Toronto, that I came back and I had my son. And we were here for like 6 months to make it. And then when we went back to LA, me and my wife, and we all wanted to be here because I love the city. The city's awesome.
Yep.
I love Toronto. I love Canada. I want to raise my kids in Canada. But again, The Wake was made through the U.S. system.
Yeah, it was an American film with a Canadian director.
Yeah, shot in Canada, Canadian writer director, but it's an American film. So for me, there's a disconnect between like, why isn't Canadian film, the Canadian film industry, like attracting all these Canadian filmmakers that have to go to the States to get their stuff made, right? So I think, I think there's a bridge to be the gap to be bridged there for sure.
I think also in TV shows, you're talking film, but like TV, it's interesting because there was always a stigma attached to like Canadian television, and especially in comedy, that's kind of not there anymore because there's amazing shows. But it just seems like it takes a long time, like a long time for the recognition.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I really hope. I think it's changing though. I think it's changing for the better. And as you say, some of the quality of TV is getting really good. I think the quality of filmmaking is getting really good. I just think it's just we just need to there needs to be some intermediate that recognizes all this talent that's going to the U.S. and needs to kind of keep them here or support them here.
Absolutely. So your film Awake is available now on Netflix. You mentioned #1 film worldwide on Netflix at such a quick, short amount of time. When people watch your film, you obviously hope that they enjoy it, they recommend it. Diving deep into it a little bit more, Mark, when they watch Awake, what are you hoping they get out of it?
I mean, it's a good question. So, obviously, there's the 95 minutes of escapism that goes along with any film, and but underneath it all, I think there's a message that perhaps we need to go back to basics a little bit.
Yep.
I think there's a message about being grounded and understanding what's important in life. For me, that's friends and family first and foremost. So, it's a story of a family trying to survive. And on this journey, they meet different types of people who kind of are approaching things in different ways. And the way I wish this story could have played out, although it wouldn't be an interesting movie, is that when something like this happens, instead of everyone just kind of fighting for themselves and going their own ways, there's an effort for communities to come together and kind of solve things together. And so I think, I'm trying to tell that story of that's what I think we need in a very different way. So I hope people can kind of see that and get that out of it. That, maybe it's time to I use the word rebirth, but it's time to reevaluate where we are.
This is a precaution. I always ask this question I'm about to ask, even though sometimes it's obvious or it's of course, because you never know whether director, writer, actor. You've seen your film. You've seen Awake?
I've seen Awake, yes.
Okay. You can never assume.
No, it's a good question because of the pandemic, there was no premiere.
Yep.
So we didn't get to all get together and watch the film and then party after.
Yeah, because my question had to do with the playback, but the thing is, it's one of those things too where I asked someone once, talk a little bit about the film and like what your performance and everything. And he was like, I didn't see it yet, but I heard good things. And it just kind of like,
Yeah, no, because normally when I've had those premieres before, I can't watch it. I get too sick, nauseous. So I'll go sit like behind the theater and like I'll go for a beer somewhere and then come back for the Q&A after.
So what was that experience seeing it afterwards?
Yeah, so this was just like watching it on my computer. Like when it came out, I just like put it on my Netflix and watched it along with everyone else.
Was it weird though? Because sometimes you never know. Like you see playbacks and like you go over shots and then you like make it and then you see it. Was it a little weird?
Yeah, it is. But you know what? I'm like, I got into it. I don't know. I spent so much time putting it together and editing and effects, and I'd seen every bit and piece of it hundreds of times. So it's nice. I like, it was fun for me to watch it again, for sure.
Absolutely. Mark, I wanted to thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate you coming on the show to talk about Awake.
No problem. Pleasure.
So, yeah, like I said, very simple. It's available now on Netflix. They could watch it right now. They could go.
Too.
They could go. They could go like right now. Like they could watch this interview, watch the movie. They could watch the movie and then watch this interview. They can go right now, which is amazing. And where can people follow you? Is there social media they can follow you at to keep up to date with anything? Or
yeah, sure. I'm not huge on social media, but I do have a Twitter account at Mark Raso.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative. You can catch Mark Raso's Awake, available now on Netflix, worldwide, #1 film worldwide right now on Netflix. Until next time, this is Mark Raso and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.